This is Hapbee. You see the B? There you go. It's a B.
Hey, he looks pretty.
And the butt is a Wi-Fi signal. There you go. So that's why we called it Hapbee. So
pollinating. He looks quite busty as well. He looks like he has a nice pair.
Yeah. Those aren't boobs, those are wings.
Today's conversation is with Scott Donnell, an amazing entrepreneur whose latest company is called Hapbee, which is a mood-enhancing device. He's a great guest, and we had so much to talk about with him and did not want to lose any of the gems, so we're making this into a two-part podcast. Enjoy part one of the Earth Locker Hapbee episode.
I hope to God that's not actually your backyard,
like a blue screen.
Yeah. That's what we do when we're in quarantine, gentlemen.
Oh! You are living large in Seattle. That's amazing. Oh, there we go.
Oh, no, go back. Scott.
Let's do this one.
Oh, I like it. Very spacey. Zen. I shall call you the Grand Zornoff. Hey, Scott, pleasure to meet you. I'm Byron. I know we communicate
meet you guys.
now. We're waiting for Tom to get onto the call now. And once he's on, then we'll start officially. This is the lovely Robert Sheehan.
Hello, Scott. How are you, mate?
Hi, Robert. Good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. Where are you holed up? Where are you underground?
I'm actually in Phoenix right now. This is where we live. So
Phoenix, Arizona. Oh, you'll be having lovely weather, would you?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's 80 degrees and sunny right now.
I suppose you're probably sick and tired of that being in Arizona, though. Although, do you know what? A few years ago, I was there with an ex, and we drove to Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And it was sun. There was ice up to our fucking eyeballs. It was mental.
Yeah.
We stayed in Flagstaff. Flagstaff was really nice, but it was like, you know, that kind of ice where there's boulders of it by the side of the road.
Yeah, that's about right. If you go north, Arizona actually has all of the different seasons and different climates. It's crazy. Like we have extreme elevation on the north end. We've got desert. We've got the south side, like on the Mexican border.
And then you're walking along and you just go into the Grand Canyon.
And we got the Grand Canyon. That's right. Yeah, beautiful here.
Yeah, that was a dysfunctional trip, to say the least.
I used to spend a lot of time down in Arizona. I used to go to the Papago Reservation when I was younger.
Okay.
On missionary trips down there with my church. When I was a lad.
Go on, Byron. I'm always trying to jab Scott to get Byron to confess more stuff about himself. Because he's an enigma. And actually, this podcast is about us as much as it's about you, isn't it?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of banter for sure.
Where are you guys at? Are you in?
We're in London.
We're in my apartment.
Okay,
yeah.
Deal.
We're in my apartment. You're in yours.
We're in London right now. And Tom is up in Leicestershire with his family because he's isolating, keeping everyone safe up there.
We're filming. Are we not recording this?
We are recording this.
Oh, good. Tell us more about the church, Byron. Come on.
What? Oh, there's Tom.
Tom.
Pop
Byron was in a church when he was a lad, and he was about to expand on it for the world.
Well, just to share that my love of Arizona is quite high because I spent a lot of time outside of Tucson at the Papago Reservation, which is on the border of Mexico and Arizona. And
why'd you go to that reservation for your church?
We were just doing a summer camp for the children
cool.
in the reservation. It was just it was actually amazing. We did it 5 times, and towards the end, I was one of the leaders and cooking for all the attendees, and it was amazing.
Interesting language used around Arizona when you said that your love for Arizona is quite high.
I've been to some states in America which I would not rate.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I've been to Lake Havasu in Arizona.
Arizona pretty high on the list.
I just thought that there was a drug connotation, fellas. Never mind. I was reaching for a drug connotation.
And peyote.
Yeah, taking cacti out in the high desert of Arizona.
You actually ran into cows that had gotten high on peyote in the Papago Reservation. Yeah, they were just stumbling around.
No way.
That actually happens.
Wow, having spiritual experiences, cows.
Yeah.
Anyway,
can you guys hear me?
Crazy experiences. Just go to Sedona.
Yeah,
I've been there.
That's the capital of the woo-woo culture. So
really?
I've been told.
That is a crazy place. Energy vortexes and everything. It's
we stumbled over a few little makeshift Buddha temples in the hills around Sedona.
Really?
Yeah.
What are we doing there?
Just hanging out, innit? Just buzzing around. Being an actor, Scott.
That's what you do.
You get a lot of hanging out time to kind of just, just wander around and soak things up, and hopefully it turns into something that you can charge people for.
Yeah. There you go, man. Wow.
So
all right, let's introduce you properly here.
Let's go on
Mr. Scott Donnell.
Scott Donnell.
You are an entrepreneur. I've read about stuff you've done in Apex, absolutely amazing. But of course, I came to you because I saw a mention of your present company called Hapbee. Hapbee.
Very trendy of today's modern startups, Scott, to take a perfectly good word and then misspell it violently and
yes, is it?
Was that on purpose, sir? Are you dyslexic like me?
Yeah, that was that's definitely created some debate. So
my mates have just started another company called people around my corner, Moonsift.
What are Moonsift doing?
They're like data algorithm which help you shop sharper online.
Oh,
it works with your Chrome browser. I don't know. This is definitely precarious territory for me to wander into.
Yeah.
But anyway, Scott, Hapbee.
Let's talk about Hapbee.
Names are funny, right? Like, there's a lot of debate that goes into it, right? You got to find something that the domain's available and easily searchable. You got to find something that relates to your name. You got to find something that everybody likes.
Yeah.
But we found, obviously we can't buy happy, the actual feeling, the actual word, because that's like $300,000 for the domain and everything, and no one's gonna
hands off.
Hands off, yeah. But
stop trying to hate emotions.
The point of our company is to help people feel better, and so we thought, well, that's a hell of a word to try to get people to think about with us, is be happier. So, and then our logo is a bee, so that's really why. So Hapbee, that's
Hapbee.
really BEE.
Is the bee? Is he in any sort of act with a bird? No, because that is a time when we're all very merry, I'm sure.
Quite true. Hold on, I'm going to stop us here for just 1 second because I got a little technical glitch. I don't know. Are you guys seeing each other on the Zoom call anymore, or no?
We can no longer see you guys.
Oh, we can see you. Oh, I can see
you.
I see you guys.
Is Storm
thing
remotely?
She is dealing with this currently. I would hope, yes.
Nice one, Scott. Don't worry, all that's usable. We kept it cool because we're professionals.
We are cool. There we are again. Hello.
But of course, it's being cut out for being boring. No, I'm joking.
Actually, I thought it was kind of interesting.
No, it was interesting. I'm only joking.
Okay, hey. Where should we start with this, guys?
Okay, so I think, Scott, what would be really good for our listeners is tell us about Hapbee. What is Hapbee? Why did you start it? What does it plan to do for people?
Yeah. So, well, at the heart of it, it's a mental health product. Okay. So, and I'm not the scientist. I am a marketer. I'm an entrepreneur. We've got about 15 PhDs in the labs in a basement somewhere in Seattle working on this at all times.
Are they attached to people, or have you already murdered them?
The PhD.
Oh, yeah.
I try not to talk to them as much as possible. But yeah, so basically it's this technology is about 18 years old. It's ultra low frequency technology. It was basically used by the Navy. Okay. Have you guys ever heard of a magnetometer?
Yeah.
Okay. So these guys are using magnetometers. The Navy has used these devices. Think of like a 4-foot propane tank, all right?
And it's got a magnet attached to it somewhere.
What if Einstein was right? What if a molecule, like a drug molecule, has a frequency? What if there's electrons oscillating around these a molecule, and they're going in a billion different directions? What if that's throwing off like an actual wake? What if that's throwing off a frequency? So they bought a couple of these for millions of bucks. They pooled their money. They didn't have a business bone in their body. I mean, these guys are scientists, right? I love them to death, but they wanted grants and they wanted to figure out science. And so their thought was, let's try to take these magnetometers and see if we can record what certain molecules sound like. And what if you could then play that back and get a similar effect on humans or animals?
But you say play it back and get a... Oh, and so by since she's sitting there listening to we on a subatomic level will start to groove to that funk, baby.
Trigger. Yep.
Huh.
Aha.
Yep.
I'm intrigued.
So think of it this way. So, and then this is what happened. So 3.5 years later, 2006, 2007, they got their first readings. They did a bunch of work on these things. They got 38 patents behind it. And one of the main guy's friends passed away of a brain tumor.
Oh.
And he basically said with the team, let's go after brain cancer. Let's see if we can create a therapy, like a signal that helps people with brain tumors. And so that's what they've been working on since with our parent company up in Seattle. It's called Emulate Therapeutics. So what they've done is they took the signal for Taxol, which is a chemo drug, right? It's an off-patent chemo drug, and they've been using it they've created a frequency, and they are helping people with tumors. They've helped hundreds of people. They're in stage 3, I believe. They're launching stage 3 of FDA.
So when you say helping them, it's keeping them from being in pain, or it's actually reducing the inflammation of the tumor? Like what's it, when do you say helping them?
Yeah, sorry, you cut out there for just a second, but I think you said what's actually happening.
To what degree, Scott, are they being helped by the magnetic signal?
Is it
pain
relief or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's been 6 peer-reviewed journal entries in CNS Oncology that can track the data that they've had, but basically they have helped in slowing the growth of tumors, stalling in times, extending life significantly for people with brain tumors.
Cool.
And so the idea was, if you take chemo with brain cancer, it doesn't work because you can't get past the blood-brain barrier, right? But if you can use a frequency that goes through bone, muscle, tissue, everying, and they can affect the receptor sites. And
any negative effects? No, any negative effects? None whatsoever.
There are no serious adverse events to date.
Wow,
which is the best news of all.
So how can you expand on it, Scott? How can you go from it's slowing down to stalling at best, to dirty malignant tumors, to actually healing them, to kind of dissolving them or whatever? Is it about amplifying the signal, do you think, or somehow intensifying the signal?
I'm trying to figure out how to get better coverage here. For some reason, can you guys hear me pretty well? You guys are breaking up.
I can actually hear you quite well, Scott.
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Are you getting feedback maybe because you don't have the headphones on, or?
No, I think it's just it's like cutting in and out, but that's technology.
That's all right. Is it still happening?
I mean, it's fine. We take a little moment, just tell us to repeat our pontification, and we shall.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Now you're clear. Say the question again.
Was it? Do you want to, Tom? Do you want to just start from the question you had?
Yeah. So I guess the main question really, I guess, is how is it helping them? Is it taking the pain away? Is it reducing the tumor? Is it stalling it? How far can this go? How far can this technology go? Can it actually get to the point where it can?
I mean, I understand that's your parent company. That's not Hapbee.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of giving you guys the backstory, the origin story of how this happened. But the basic answer to your question is, if you can do this to a specific frequency that can help people with tumors, and really basically they're extending life up to like 40% for people. In several cases, there are people that are literally wearing these devices with brain cancer years and years after, 24/7, they're wearing it because it's helped them so much. So I'm talking like 4 or 5 years now for the longest patients.
So go on. So I was going to say, so where then did you come to know Emulate Therapeutics? How did you get mixed up in all this? This hijinkery?
My uncle did their taxes.
Right.
And then he shredded everything and jumped out the window.
That's right. So basically, he was their CPA up on Whidbey Island in Washington State. I grew up on Whidbey Island north of Seattle, and it was a bunch of PhDs in a basement saying, check this cool crap out. And he said, you guys, what are you doing? Like, you need to figure out a way to help people and turn this into an organization. And that's really how it started. And so I actually invested almost 12 years ago in their technology to help people because they were going after brain tumors and helping people with glioblastoma brain tumors. So I've known this tech for over a decade. And as you saw, I'm an entrepreneur, so I went off and built a few different companies. We've got millions of kids. We've got like one of the largest school fundraising companies in America. Yeah. I've got 500 employees there. I've got a tech team, an app team, a promotions team, videographers, like everything, right? Yeah. So about a year and a half ago, and I've been telling the board of this Seattle company, I'm like, you guys, you got to try to figure out a way to help people just mentally feel better throughout the day. Why are you trying to go through like a $50 million FDA nightmare for brain cancer? Why don't you just create like a general wellness product, right?
Create like a micro dose of signal.
Well, yeah, I mean,
the idea is
it's like microdosing.
You can use these frequencies, like you can adapt this technology to record specific frequencies that help people sleep, that help people with soreness, that help people with focus and memory. And we can literally mimic energy drinks, like several cups of coffee to give you like an alert, higher heart rate. Wow. I mean, literally. So, and you're
sorry, you're injecting the signal, are you? No, how are people exposed to it? All right, okay, go on.
So here it is. This is Hapbee. You see the bee? There you go. It's a bee.
Hey, he looks pretty.
And the butt is a Wi-Fi signal. There you go. So that's why we called it Hapbee. So
pollinating. He looks quite busty as well. He looks like he has a nice pair.
Yeah. Those aren't boobs. Those are wings.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So the idea here is that people wear these things on their head or around their necks.
Yeah.
24/7, or like just for when they want to have a nap, or
whenever you want. The idea is like $19 a month, unlimited use for however you want to use it throughout the day. So here's our first 6 signals that are in the app.
Wow.
So what we got here, we've got
Spotify for emotions.
Yeah. That's so if you want to be, what are all those things there, Scott? What we got? What are the different options?
We've got Hapbee, which mimics a happy hour drink. Get a little bit of giggly, flushed cheeks. You get like relaxed. We've got Calm. We've got Relax, which is a muscle relaxant. We've got Alert, which mimics the coffee and the energy drinks. That's the alert signal. And then the Pick Me Up is the focus signal. It's like a buzz. Wow. It kind of mimics a smoke break without the toxins and smell.
Yeah. I think, I think what this will be.
What you created is a tech drug, isn't it?
Yeah, it's advantageous, I think, probably, Scott, I was listening to this interesting chat with Gabor Mate, and he was talking about how there is a sort of a cultural addiction, that everybody kind of has a vice or not, or whatever, but sort of a lot of the time there are people who are sort of going through their day with some sort of vice that includes toxins. But it sounds like your thing might be like a good way of weaning people, or at least giving them like a sort of like a nicotine patch, kind of weaning them off there, whatever their idea might be.
Well, so yeah, you just play what you want in the app. You put it on. You can put it on your forehead and basically pinch it so it holds. Like this.
And then you look like you're in a space cult.
Yeah, or you can put it around your neck and look like Iron Man, right?
Ooh, and you don't even have to start your colors.
That's right. So anyone knows Robert Downey Jr., please hook me up. So the idea here is people do, they drink coffee or smoke or, drink alcohol or pills or those things. We just want to be a healthy alternative. And, I'm not going to stop. I love a good Manhattan. But if I play the Hapbee signal with a Manhattan, I don't need 3 or 4 anymore. I need 1 because it feels like 3 or 4.
Really?
Right. Yeah. So just to play devil's advocate here, Scott, because is this something that is, because we're a big believer on the Earth Logger here to talk about trying to find a preventative to a lot of these problems that you're talking about, sort of masking with this thing, right? So do you see this as like a cure? Or do you see it as like a masking the symptoms of the bigger problem, which might be mental illness potentially, or like bipolar or whatever the problem is?
Yeah, great question. So basically, we're getting an article in Psychology Today on Thursday, and it's talking about this as a mental health product. So if you really get down to what we're doing, we're trying to balance you throughout the day. Everybody they're searching for certain things, certain habits to help them get through the day. Yeah. Whether it's medication, sleep, good food, exercise, weed, alcohol, drugs. I mean, there's great things and there's bad things. And so for us, we want to be a healthy alternative to where somebody can help themselves with just a quick click of a button to balance their mood, balance their sensations without having to turn to something negative. I mean, think about like Alcoholics Anonymous or, addiction recovery or trauma. They want to find the right loops so that they don't loop trauma or addiction or triggers. So if you can be that sort of go-to, which is a healthy mental balancing product, it can help people throughout the day. And my favorite part about it is you're not staring at a screen when you're using our product. This is not like social media.
And you're not taking a pill.
You're not taking a pill. And also you could have, as you said, Scott, it could be for pain. I like the idea that there could be older folks who, have some sort of build up over the years, and this could definitely improve that. Is that?
Well, so one of the main
working that way.
Yeah, one of the main things we got to be careful of is making any medical claims, right? This is not a medical product.
It's a mental health
curing.
Product.
I'm not curing cancer. I'm not curing urinary tract infections or pain or anxiety or depression or insomnia. We don't claim any of that. All we're saying is it's a mood feelings product that gives you specific sensations. Now, whatever the customers say, which we have a ton, we've had about 450 people do this now, and they love it.
Have any of them done it in the act of coitus, Scott? Has there been any
is there an over 18 version of your app is what he's asking.
Yeah.
Of course.
We're not filming in the app.
No, but reports back going, did it make the orgasm fountain shoot any higher into the sky? Come on now, Scott. You're a scientist. Oh no, you're not. You're an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I'm not.
You'll have to gather the data.
Yeah, we probably couldn't share it if it was true. So,
but it would be.
We do have. This is actually funny. We have 8 more signals in the labs right now, and so it's not just these 6. We have hundreds. We're going to be able to get.
What does your lab look like, Scott? A sound lab, a lab that works with frequency. What does that look like? In my head, it looks like I'm the $6 million man.
Yeah, it looks like a bunch of propane tanks in a basement in Seattle with a bunch of lab coats and crazy, it's one of our guys kind of looks like the guy from Independence Day.
Nice.
Oh, great. So from like the Area 51, amazing.
Which guy?
Yeah, these guys are like brilliant, right? They're the best of the best.
What kind of music are they listening to?
Van Halen.
They're old school rockers.
They're proper rockers. Yeah.
Okay, so this is really important. This is why we started this company. Those guys are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s now, and they said, "Look, we don't know consumer tech. We don't know. They didn't even think about this side of it, like the Bluetooth, the wireless, the app-based, the Netflix of feelings. They are thinking about one-off orphan drugs going through FDA, and so that's their side, and we're licensing and adopting their technology for the consumer world. And so that's why they wanted us young guns to come in and take their technology and create something that was sleek and sexy.
Is the parent company still developing the signals, or is that going off to somebody else?
Yes, the parent company does all the research, and they help acquire the signals, and then we can adapt them for our moods and sensations.
Scott, I like a bit of meditation sometimes. It makes me feel nice, and it gives me a bit of a
trumpets in your brain. Okay.
Trumpets.
You know what I mean? And so I suppose what I'm trying to say is, and I'm not saying that you're in any way like a competition to meditation. In fact, what I envision is that your thing could in fact be like a guided handhold to
It
meditation.
enhances the experience.
It's very complementary,
or together, but also probably leading people to meditation, because I think there's great potential in people to kind of to boost their own well-being. I'm not saying all the time, but I think that's definitely a tool that people have, on their own. but I suppose it enhances everything, and it's good. That's
right. That's what we're working on is what can we do to enhance your everyday life? We don't want people to escape. We want people to engage more, not escape. So how can you
without taking Adderall? Do you know what? Like me and Tom were in Toronto, and
doing a bunch of Adderall?
Well, no, I met someone who we were working with, right? Who I think takes it on a fairly, not daily basis, but someone who functions, and it's been prescribed and everything, and it's been sort of normalized into the culture in the US. And I'll be honest with you, I took Adderall recreationally once, right? One time, And it was a very fun evening, right? Everybody was very, very focused on one another, yeah. But the next day, lads and ladies, and everyone listening and watching, I had to travel. I had to go through 2 airports, and I felt like fucking death warmed up. And it was weird because a couple of days later, I spoke to the people who had also taken just like same amount as me, a little bit. And one of them was saying to our friend who gave it to us, he was like, "So is there any downsides?" I didn't feel a downside. I didn't even feel a sort of a hangover. But I was like, I felt like a corpse. It was horrible. I'd like to have been sapped of all my joy. You know, it was one of the worst days in recent history, I'll be honest with you. And it was tough. And I just think that those things have been normalized and they have such horrendous fallouts and side effects.
Oh man, I mean, the pharmaceutical industry in terms of dealing with psychological problems, I mean, the first thing they do is hand out a pill now. Before even asking about any of the questions to do with your lifestyle or anything else, it's like, here, have a pill. And 9 times out of 10, that pill will have 10 times the side effects and ongoing onset of problems than the actual problem they're trying to fix.
Down in your gutty what's.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
then they give you another pill and another prescription to deal with the side effects. So my dad just had kidney surgery a few months ago, and they gave him 2 drugs to help him with it, and those drugs fought each other and caused 2 other problems that they gave him 2 more drugs for, and now he's at 4. And he's getting gut rot, and
that's the healthcare system problem we go on about so much. I mean, it's just
dark.
It can't go on.
Yeah, it's mad because we are all living with this very profoundly primitive thing. It seems to exist at the center of at the very basis of our society, you know. And it's actually, this podcast has been incredibly useful in enriching us by talking to folks who are coming at health in so many new and lateral and less damaging ways. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, is that your motivation? Because you've known about this company and this tech for a while from the parent company, and then you approached them 2 years ago to start Hapbee. I mean, why now? Why not 10 years ago? And then also, what is your ultimate vision? How big does Hapbee have to get before you start making it into something else?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, really, I've been telling them for years, but I was off building other businesses. I mean, we have 3 million kids we've served in our other business and 120 franchises. I was happy as a clam. Yeah. And when they approached me with this, they said, what would it look like to create a product that for the general population, right? And that's where, that's my unique ability, is I can just see, I have a good vision and strategy to get there. That's where I'm good. I'm a builder. So
does it come in any other ways? You know, the way you have it clipped around your head there to starch up your collar. Does it have other forms of creation?
So we started with the product that we know would work the best. So around your head and around your neck, what it is it's basically a copper coil. Yeah. So this is a 28 gauge copper coil wire wound around 30 times. So it's
don't tell the world that. They'll buy your thing.
I'm going to make one tomorrow.
I'm going to go steal.
Well, you need the signal. So we can do whatever you want. You just can't take it.
Damn it. He's got the signals.
But what we're doing is we're playing a very, very specific magnetic field. We call it an informed magnetic field with 2.3 million endpoints that are taken from our magnetometers.
So wait. So sorry to break it down for us, twits.
Less layman than you.
Yes. Yeah. So what's endpoints mean? It's got 2.3 million of them.
More layman.
So let's say you took a 0.5 hertz frequency. Okay, it's just going to go like this, right? Like an electrocardiogram or something. You just do.
Right.
What we were able to do is, we are, like I said, with our technology, we can record 10 to the negative 15 cents a Tesla of sensitivity.
Which is a lot of numbers.
Yeah, it's like 0.15 zeros, and then you start to hear what we're doing, okay? So we're at the very, very fine subatomic level. So when we play back that specific frequency, it's so fine and it's so clear with all these different endpoints. It actually starts triggering a response biologically in your body.
Wow. So and when you get close enough, it sounds like the car alarm of a Fiat Punto. from 2004. Sorry, go on. So
that was an incredibly obscure reference. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But so that's amazing. So have you, then you basically start to amplify.
Yeah, we can trigger certain receptor sites within the body and build, we think that's what the best explanation of what it is we're triggering receptor sites, building pathways in the body. And it's never a one-to-one. Like if you took a sleeping pill and then you did our sleepy signal, it's never one-to-one because of covalent and non-covalent bonds. So this kind of goes back to like high school chemistry. There's covalent bonds and there's non-covalent bonds whenever you take a drug into your body. So I like to use the example, aspirin is a covalent bond. When I take aspirin, there's a physical chemical bond to the receptor sites with aspirin in my body to trigger a response. When I take ibuprofen, it is a non-covalent bond. And what that means is it's a charge that triggers my receptor sites from a distance. Okay, that is what a non-covalent essentially does.
So it basically they might send signals to each other or something, that there's a
that's exactly right. So like think of like a molecule of ibuprofen that has electrons oscillating in a billion different directions, 3D. Well, that when it enters your body, it can potentially charge receptor sites in your body without a physical bond happening. So that's where we started our technology in our science, saying what if we could mimic that non-covalent bond? We can't do covalent bonds. We know we can't do those, but 2/3 of all reactions in your body when you take in something, whether it's orally or intravenous or topical, whatever, are non-covalent bonds. So that's where we started, which, hormones and stimulants and suppressants and those types of things, we have the ability to mimic partial responses in the body with just a frequency. And that's where the power comes, right? Think about people that are wanting to relax after a long day of work, but they don't want to take in bad stuff. Think about people
they're on a cleanse. They're on a
cleanse. Meditation, gaming, VR world. I mean, imagine feeling like you had a couple of happy hour drinks in Second Life or a VR game. Yeah. I mean, it's a balancing product, right? People need to feel relaxed. Yeah.
So if I was so with the app, so what happens if I'm just trying to like play out the devil's advocate element of this, and like if I was to, have you done like placebo testing on this to like tell someone that you're okay, you're now feeling this, and then they go, actually, you've pressed the sleep one, and you go, oh, actually, I feel kind of like upbeat.
Right. Yeah. So definitely placebo is the most important thing that we have to fight against. And so about 90% of the people who do this they can tell the difference between signals. They enjoy it. 10% of people either have a trauma block or they're high tolerance, or it takes a while, right? A few people are just like, I'll never feel it because I just don't have, like, you could give me 5 shots of Novocaine and I'll never feel a thing. Or
well, it's a bit like the hypnosis thing, right? With hypnosis, they say that someone has to be willing to do it. So it's like if I'm pressing relax or happy, whatever, it's like, I want to be happy right now. Oh God, I just feel so happy now.
And so also the very Pavlovian act of associating a sort of an emotional state with the product will sort of begin to trigger the emotion, perhaps. That's very much, the function of the mantra a little bit, that it's sort of many functions to it, but that's one of the things it starts to do, that you trigger a bodily calm that you've spent months kind of getting into. You can trigger it quite fast by using
it's very important though to explain, like, there is an actual biologic effect happening. It's not just, I want to feel happy, so I'm going to click happy and make my mind think that way. We are, we've done heart rate monitors, behavior tests on people without showing anything. We have a study going on, a blinded test going on as we speak in San Francisco. So we're going to be able to publish those results very soon.
Scott, do you have what you're calling it a mental health product, and you're being, making sure to call it that. But this, if there is, as you say, a proven biological reaction that could be measured and tracked and everything, it ceases to be. I suppose it's tricky, the definition around that, isn't it? Because the definition is everything to do with how the person engages with the product, not the person's reaction to the product. Because, emotional reactions are as physical as this sexy table that Byron built all himself on my balcony while I sort of flittered around in a gown and fed him lemonade. Sorry. But you know what I mean? Like, it's a tricky definition, isn't it? Because, why do you have to arrive at that mental health product thing?
Well, I mean, look, it's for us, there are two sister companies. The parent company is going after the medical side, okay? They are making medical claims. And to make a medical claim, you have to prove it in labs and through trials, and it's millions and millions of dollars. I mean, there's $80 million into their brain cancer studies, okay? But now they can charge $50,000 through a doctor to charge someone who's going through it, right? Through insurance. We are approaching this completely differently. We want to have a mood and feeling based product that helps people just feel better, feel happier throughout the day when they need it. We don't want to make all these medical claims and go through 10 years of FDA trials just so that a doctor can write a prescription and charge 100 times as much. If we can give you good feelings throughout the day for a couple bucks a month, that's really what we're going after, because we think this is a great consumer type product. I mean, there's no drug. There's nothing that you're taking in your body. So it's not really part of the drug world at all. It's just using frequencies and energies to help your body feel better.
Is this available in the UK, Scott, and Ireland? It is.
Well, what is the launch date? Because right now we're in the middle of COVID-19 isolation period, but this product even hasn't been released yet or shipped.
Yeah. So you guys, this is a fun story for your listeners. We just got we got a heated debate online with the trolls coming after us.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go
wrong. So and this was part of the problem. We can't release some of our studies because we just got our first 50 products off the production line like 2 weeks ago. We were using in all of our
different products. Do you mean the signals?
No, 50
units.
Units, like the products.
50 actual units.
Products. We just got our first 50 off the line like 2 weeks ago, and they went out to all these reviewers and advisors and Gizmodo folks and PR people, and the testers, right? The San Francisco test group. But before that, we were using the old parent company's products, delivers the same signals, but we couldn't publish any studies with their device. We have to use our device. So that's why we had to be really careful on what we put out to the world. So now that we're doing those exact same studies with our products, in the next 3 weeks, we're able to tell the world the results of the blinded studies, right?
Okay, so you actually have blinded studies, which definitely the online YouTube channel things, which I'd shared with my co-hosts, were just killing you on the ambiguous nature and the non-medical classification for the patents and the no studies and and the trolls did definitely hit this product hard, and they were quite compelling.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes me still want to have you on the show is the fact that everyone on your board and the people backing you are a whole lot of people in the business and personal development and health industry that I really respect, that I can't imagine would back a charlatan.
Yep. So, Dave Asprey is a great example, right? Like, he's become a very close friend. I didn't know him at all before he tried our technology the first time. He put the alert signal.
I'd love to try it, Scott. I'd love to try it.
Yeah, that's the main thing we're telling people is, hey, just try it. Like, you really hate it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, right?
Right. So, and none of these trolls have ever tried it because we haven't got, we got 10,000 coming off the line at the end of May, but they've never even tried it. So I think, fine. If you want to go against us, we've got 500,000 views of people who think that this is snake oil. Okay. That's just great PR. I mean, because all the people who have tried it like it. And so for me, I think it is a positive thing, right? So
yeah,
I think
what were the trolls? What was the specificity to their points?
Here's what happened. The parent company told us, and we agreed. They were like, look, we don't want you to put all of your studies that you did with our products on your site. So we did, and we said, okay, we'll do those in May when they're done, and we'll, that. Well, February is when we launched our Indiegogo campaign, and it was supposed to be for just some of our family and friends, right? We set a $15,000, goal. We already raised $5 million. Like, we don't need that money. It was just for marketing and kind of getting some feedback from friends and family and our investors. It was supposed to only sell like 100 units or like 50 to 100 units from family and friends. Well, it blew up. We sold $450,000 US worth of this product, and like 1,300 units already sold. And so it became like in the top 0.2% of all the Indiegogo projects and hit all these rankings. And we were sitting here like, oh, well, that's great. Everyone's excited. And then bam, the trolls come out of nowhere. And, Thunderfoot's video with 250,000 views. And he basically said, where's your science? Where's all your stuff? Well, we didn't do it for that reason. We didn't put it there. And so then, we said, fine, well, let's put up a little bit more of the science. So then we put up more of the science of like, okay, here's the white paper. Here's the 6 peer-reviewed journal entries in CNS Oncology, and the #1 brain surgeon in the world, Dr. Victor Levin, who did a expose on our technology. Like we posted that to our backers to make sure everyone knew where this was coming from. And it was too late, right? The cat was out of the bag. They're like, fists up, we're gonna fight you. So now we're just like, well, all we can do now is have testimonials from really good names and show our blinded studies as we do them, right?
Okay.
So,
hey, how do you get to be known as the #1 brain surgeon in the world? I wonder, is there like a final round with mud wrestling?
You got enough brains, quantum.
Yeah,
exactly. Chopped up enough brains.
Yeah. How many brains?
Your skill, I would say.
Yeah.
But,
wow. So that, well, there you're grand. Who cares about a bit of fluff online? Do you know what I mean? It's a long line of nonsense that people will take very quick issue with, isn't it?
Well, here's a question for you guys. What would you do to trolls? What would you do to somebody who's like
Ignore them?
Ignore them.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
chase the dream, man.
Speak for itself. Do you know
what
I mean?
if they rank on your Google every time someone types in Hapbee?
What do you mean? What does that mean? Rank on my Google? Is that a euphemism?
So this is what they do, right? Like Thunderfoot got paid $12,000 to make those videos against us.
Yeah.
And he got paid from his Patreon community because they saw him on Indiegogo, and they troll Dave Asprey and Bulletproof, and they're like, oh, you got to make a hit video on this. And he made a bunch of money from it, and he makes more the more they rank. So now a guy who's never tried it, who came after us, not knowing all of our science and data, is going to rank on Google when people search our product. And he wins because he got out in front of it, and he's going to get a bunch more views when we do all of our marketing to bring people to our websites. So,
at the end of the day, you don't do anything because your product, once, like you just said, was about subjective. People with authority, who have tried it and like it, and tell your friends. My friend or someone I trust, like if Tom tells me, "Hey, Byron, I did this and it worked," I'm going to believe him 1,000% because he is informed. He understands his body. He takes control of his biology.
What about me, Byron?
And I trust.
What are you trying to say?
Well, you're a great kisser, so whatever.
we all have our pluses and our minuses.
I think 100%. Those, and at the end, you haven't even launched yet, so
exactly.
Your rankings are irrelevant.
And the fact, it's interesting, that you are offering a product that improves mood, and the fact that its reaction online, where you didn't really put it officially up for sale, had such a
definitely what you need to do is you need to send us all a unit each and let us try it and do an unboxing and review for us.
Yeah, because we'll give a completely unbiased reaction to it. I mean, I love trying these sorts of things because if it doesn't work, then
just send it back to you.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
This is why I got hooked. So my grandma is 86 years old. She's super sore. She's got all these issues and having trouble sleeping and just aging.
Yeah.
And a lot of tension and aches. I gave her the relax signal last May. And
Did you tell her you were giving her the relax signal?
Nope. Didn't say a word. I just said, Grandma, this may help. And
what did the unit look like at that point last May? Did it look like the one you have now, or is it?
No, it was the older version that the parent company used out of Seattle. It's like a blue headband with a cord and a big box thing. I just said, Grandma, put this on. 20 minutes later, she was bouncing around. She's like, Scotty, I feel better than I felt in 25 years. And that night, she slept 11 hours.
That's God bless. That's really fantastic.
And the next morning, my grandpa gave me $100,000 investment into the business. And I never asked him, we don't do this in our family. He's like, Scotty, we're going to die. Like, we're old and like, we don't care. But what you did to Grandma, you need to do for everyone else, because she's used it ever since. Like, I just gave it to her. And it's been amazing. Right. And so for me, that was my story. I'm like, okay, there's something here. Cause I've been, you could put one of these signals on my head and I'll tell you what it is in 4 minutes. So and without telling me, we know our team uses it 4 hours a day average. Our whole team.
That's amazing, Scott, because the thing is that we've learned from different people we've spoken to, and it's also the reason why we started this podcast, right? Is because ultimately what we think is can cause a success with a product or with a company or with a movement is that if you are doing it to help people, if the core behind your movement is to help people, then I believe that there's no way you can't get behind that. And that's exactly what we're trying to do on the Earth Locker, to expose the world to people like you that are putting a product out there that is meant to help people that are in pain.
People's nans and stuff as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting as well, Scott, like how an emotion is a very, very intangible experience, isn't it? You know, when I actually, here's a nice thing, Tom Hopper and Byron and everyone. I came out of recording dialogue just before the old big Corona lockdown for Umbrella Academy, right? I saw a few bits, and fair enough, they were out of context, but they made me feel really, really happy, very relieved, because because as an actor, you're always kind of biting your nails looking at your stuff. So I came out of there and I felt a very, very tangible, quite powerful sense of happiness. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, in a sort of meditative sense, I thought, right, just be aware of it like you would with a negative feeling, and just sort of live with it and see, and where is it? Try and pinpoint where it is. And I sat in this kind of brasserie place waiting for a pal. It was nice. For about 20 minutes, I just sort of sat really like in a state of happiness. And the truth was, coming at it from a place of awareness, I couldn't really tell you where I was experiencing. I mean, it's sort of in the center, but it sort of sits around like an aura. Do you know what I mean? It sort of sits with you like kind of dew on the morning grass. And so to experience when you put your product on and then you go, yeah, that's happiness. The bit that's kind of bumping with me with your thing is that 4 minutes where you're sitting there waiting to expect it. That's the problem for me, is that there's not a natural organic cause and effect. But that's for me. Thankfully, luckily, I'm a healthy person. I don't have.
That's a very good point, Rob. Because if you've just experienced something, say you've experienced some intense grief.
Yes.
If you put the happy on, obviously you're not going to, I feel fine now. So what is it that it's doing that? Where's the line here?
Let me explain. So it's, these words are just an indicator of the source signal. So, we call the happy hour signal happy just because more often than not, they get giggly and flushed cheeks and they just feel more relaxed when they do it.
But that has a prior reference, doesn't it? That has a prior meaning, a profound universal meaning.
A little bit different when they use the technology. So we're not trying to say, look, this isn't the electric chair where you just all of a sudden feel this jolt and you're all of a sudden that mood. This is subtle. It builds over time. In fact, we are doing this thing called train your brain, where you literally have to build. Some people it takes a few, 20 minutes the first time, 30 minutes. It takes 2 tries, 3 tries to do it. The first 2 times I did pick me up, I didn't feel much at all. And then the third time, bam. And then ever since, 3 minutes, there it is. So,
and what will train your brain do? It will shorten the period of time before you feel the good emotion.
Yeah, once you've built those pathways, it's like running through a trench rather than
how do you train people's brains?
We tell them to take deep breaths, drink water while they use it, and be in a safe place. And then the more you use them, the more you can recognize the sensation that comes from the signal. Mm-hmm. And people are different. That's the first thing in our training in the app is, like, everyone's different. You got to try them all. Try them at different times a day. Like we just the other night, there was 4 of my buddies. We were hanging around on the fire. And we were playing with a couple of the devices and everybody was trying them out. One guy loves the relax signal because it's his best muscle relaxant. The guy next to him, he's got it on for 30 minutes. He's like, I don't know if I feel anything. And we're like, okay, that's fine. And then 20 minutes later, he tries a different one. He's like, oh, there's the tingle. Now I start to get it. Right. So it's not one of those things where if you're in an intense business meeting for an hour, you got to put it on. And if it doesn't work in 30 seconds,
yeah. Oh no!
Well, do you see the future here, Scott? Is that like people? It's gonna be like some weird scene from like Demolition Man or something, where everyone's walking around with these things on their
in the
head.
bar.
1 moment, please. Bloop.
Yeah.
And they
But pub landlords are going to ban them because they're going to...
No Happees in here. No Happees in here.
No Happees in here. There's to be some more drinks. Hey, Scott, so with the Hapbee device, I mean, the thing that I find interesting about technology, if we are all individuals, what can Hapbee do to more personalize the signals? Isn't that a major thing? Because one person's feeling of happiness can't possibly be universal. So is there not a way where you could help it? Should we have an MRI or an EKG scan, and then you can adapt that to the wavelength and the frequency we're getting? Is that something that's possible?
Yeah. There's a lot of things in the background that our team is working on. I mean, but you got to think of it this way. So we're mimicking a muscle relaxant. We're mimicking an energy drink. We're mimicking a happy hour drink or a sleep aid, right? Everyone reacts a little bit differently to those things. And so that's in the description, is like, hey, however you react to 3 cups of coffee is how you're probably going to react to this.
3 cups of coffee.
Yeah, that'll be the alert signal.
That's amazing. I'd like to try that for the mornings. I'm terrible in the mornings, Scott.
You don't like coffee.
Have you done any testing on? So we talk a lot about this on the podcast. Is that so? My son has autism, right, and he works a lot with energy. So his general being, it depends a lot on what the energy is around him. And I'm curious if you've done any testing on kids or like people with autism, because it's very hard sometimes to calm a child down or a person down who has autism, who's having a certain episode. And I'm wondering if there's something in this science that means that you could actually help them calm down through these magnetisms and stuff, you know?
Yeah, so that is beautiful. Now you see where this goes. So one thing I have to say, though, is we don't have a cure for autism.
Of course, we talk about it a lot.
Right? So, but with that said, a lot of our partners are our partners now because they see an application for their population. So we've had people do this with trauma. So Dr. Don Woods, he's one of the top trauma doctors, counselors in the US out of Florida, Inspired Performance Institute. He worked with all the Vegas bombing victims in the Boston Marathon, or the Vegas shooting victims, the Boston Marathon bombing people. He worked with trauma. He tried our technology and said, this is the best product I've ever seen to help somebody to keep from looping trauma. When they go through his
trauma, right?
Yeah, he said this is a great balancing product. So we've had people with, we've tried on a few kids with like ADHD, and they'll put they actually put the alert signal on because they told us that if they have like a lot of energy drinks and sugar and caffeine, it'll actually mellow them out because ADHD is the opposite effect on that. So we put the alert signal and the kid mellowed out, super mellow.
Wow.
Yeah. So I do believe this is the thing. We can't make any claims. That was not what we're about, but we are going to let people adapt this technology for their lives and see where it works. Another good example,
putting a corpse on it and you'd have a happy corpse objectively. You're like, that corpse is definitely quite content.
So we've got, Dave Asprey and Bulletproof. They're going to launch a lot of biohacker signals in our app. We've got Jim Quick. If you know Jim Quick, Mind Valley, and he's like the brain coach for Oprah and LeBron James and Will Smith, and he wants to launch a memory signal. So he's an investor. He's a part of our team. We have about 15 of those types of people. And another lady, her name is Lisa Cini. She has 3 million seniors in her businesses, like elderly care and things like that. She said, this is,
thank God you said elderly care. I was imagining different kind of business.
Change.
No. Like, senior care homes, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Imagine if they could wear this and they could click the calm signal 10 minutes before a nurse came in with somebody with dementia or Alzheimer's who gets really jumpy and angry and violent. If they could calm down and feel better throughout the day, feel more relaxed, that is a game changer without giving them drugs, without giving them an injection or something that can hurt them.
That alone, the fact that you can get rid of drugs is a huge thing.
Now, we're not claiming that, right? Because a lot of, we don't claim to replace a drug in any way, shape, or form.
But if that is the aim there, Scott, if that is your goal, I mean, that's huge.
It's the objective.
My question about this is, so when you actually get the signals, because I'm trying to understand, if the parent company was mimicking the signal of a tumor treatment drug, is that the same thing that you're doing here? Are you actually taking caffeine from an energy drink and mimicking the signal, or how are you getting that signal? Where is that coming from? Literally the signal of caffeine,
So yeah, great question. Now we got to be really careful that there is some special
trolls
sauce,
listening.
right?
Almost definitely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I would just say this. It's a special blend of certain types of molecule recordings. Okay. We're not claiming that it's a drug. We're not saying it's, a 1-to-1 experience to, caffeine or whatever, but we can learn about what those types of molecules do in your body and try to replicate a feeling, right?
Could it put your cat into a coma?
No.
Sometimes we want to.
Yeah. Sometimes.
What about pet?
But you don't even have a cat.
What about hamster?
I'm just more of a dog person.
Yeah. Another huge application for our technology is in the veterinary space. So think of a collar for a dog.
Dogs and cats freaking out.
Oh my God, yeah. Because I had a dog that was a nightmare to train. If I could have calmed him down, that would have been a huge thing.
Imagine that. So like a muscle, like if it's a yippy dog or an achy old dog, like
What were you training, Tom? What were you training your dog to do?
Well, he was a beagle, and I couldn't get him to stay.
Oh yeah,
he just wanted to run because they got like a mad scent thing where they just run off. And I was running around Crystal Palace Park in London chasing this bloody dog. I was like, if there was something, I was looking into all those like zap collars, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't like zap a dog. No way, I can't do it. But I was like running myself ragged, man, trying to train this dog. So if I could have got something at the time to just calm him down.
Yeah.
I ended up chopping his balls off, the poor fella.
Oh, you should have zapped him first.
You put those on his collar?
Yeah, it was my dad. My dad said to me, it was like, he had the same experience, right? My dad took this dog for a walk, and the dog ran off. He thought he could train it, being my dad. And then he walks back to my house, gets in. It looks like he's gone through a bush, my dad. And he goes, get that dog's balls off.
And this is why you're so well behaved, Tom. This was your influence.
Exactly, yeah. I've been a eunuch since I was 10.
Okay, guys. Now, look. Want to find out if Tom actually kept his balls or not? Hey, this conversation was super great and went all over this place, and it was almost 2 hours long. So we're going to take a little cut here and make a part 2 to our conversation and carry on bantering about all kinds of amazing stuff with Scott Donnell and his Hapbee device, plus a whole lot of other great discussions and banter and jibs at the end. So do come back and listen to part 2 of the Hapbee episode.
Welcome to the Earth Locker with Tom,
Rob, and Byron,
where we unlock Earth's best kept secrets and make you feel a little bit better on a daily basis.
This podcast represents the opinions of the hosts and guests to the show, not the parents or affiliate companies of the Earth Locker. The contents of the show are solely owned by the Earth Locker. This show is for informational purposes only, and because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional for any medical questions. For that matter, talk with your financial advisor, especially if you wish to invest in this podcast. And don't forget, speak with your elders about personal and spiritual matters. They know stuff. They've been around for a while.